So when you're ready, just coming into a comfortable seated position with the legs crossed, taking the hands to heart, closing the eyes. So you bring your complete focus now to the breath. Longer, deeper inhales and exhales through the nose, one after another. And we'll open tonight's practice with one Om all together, inhaling through the nose. And just taking a moment here to set an intention for your practice. That intention could be anything. Maybe something you've been thinking about today or yesterday. It might have just been something that's just popped into your head. Just taking a moment with that intention. When you're ready, just open the eyes. So we're going to start today's practice with some pranayama. So just taking your hands down to your knees with the palms facing up, gently connecting pointer and thumb, closing the eyes. Just going to do a deep breathing exercise before we get into the practice. So again, bringing your complete focus to the breath, longer, deeper inhales and exhales through the nose. On the inhales, breathing in as deep as you can. And exhaling all the way out. For this deep breathing exercise, before we start our practice, we're going to make our inhales last 5 counts, hold the breath in 5 counts, make our exhales last 5 counts, and hold the breath out for 5 counts. I'll talk you through the first couple of rounds, exhaling here, inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Holding the breath in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhaling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And holding the breath out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just repeating this, we'll do another 5 rounds going at your own pace. Inhaling. Holding the breath in. Exhaling, going all the way to the end of your breath, using the stomach to press out that last bit of breath and holding that breath out. Inhaling, holding the breath in. Exhaling. And holding the breath out. Just doing 3 more rounds at your own pace. If you feel you can extend it out to 6 or 7 counts, feel free to do so. Two more rounds left. And on the next exhale, just letting the breath return back to normal. Watching the breath naturally flow in and out now through the nose. Just starting to open the eyes. So we're going to start by making our way over into a tabletop. So just slowly making our way to your tabletop. When we come into our tabletop, making sure the Wrists are sitting underneath the shoulders, so shoulder width apart, spreading the fingers, pressing down through the hands and fingers. Keeping the knees hip width apart, same with the tops of the feet flat on the mat, and hip width apart also. Making sure both of our hands, the middle fingers are pointing forward, so just making sure that both of our hands are in the same position here. We don't have them sort of out to the side. And from here, we're just going to do some natural movement, whatever you feel coming to you. You can go back and forth, side to side, whatever you feel. Just trying to keep your hands and knees firm into the mat. As you do this movement, you might move your neck around, your shoulders. Might press your belly in and out, almost like cat-cow, or the hips around in circles. Whatever you're feeling, just doing some gentle movement to the body. Whatever comes to you. Throughout this practice today, just keeping it intuitive as possible. If you feel that something else might suit you in whatever we're going into, feel free to change whatever suits your body today. Whatever you're feeling like. So we're just going to start by going into a few rounds of our cat-cow now. So as we inhale, looking up, pressing the belly button into the floor, lifting the tailbone as high as you can. Gazing to the sky, and as we exhale, rounding the spine, pressing the hips forward, bringing the chin in towards the hips. Inhaling to cow pose, gazing up, pressing the belly button to the floor. Exhaling, rounding the spine into our cat pose, bringing those hips as far in as you can, rounding the spine, pressing the ground away from you. Inhaling, cow pose. Exhaling, cat pose. Inhaling, cow pose. Exhaling, cat pose. Long deep breaths here, inhaling, cow pose. Exhaling, cat pose. We'll do one more, inhaling, cow pose. Exhaling, cat pose. Inhaling just back to neutral now, again just taking any movements, whatever you feel coming to you. So we're going to ground through our left hand and our right knee now as you take the right hand out in front of you with the palm facing in, and it's starting to lift that left leg up. If you need to, you can find your balance here. It might be easier if you take that right knee out a little wider, wherever you feel you need to go here. So we're just staying here for a few moments, long deep breaths, really engaging, trying to get a line from your toes all the way to your fingertips here. Gazing forward, pressing down through that left hand and right knee still here. Long deep breaths. Exhaling and swapping sides, taking the right hand down, the left knee down, lifting the left hand up and the right leg up now. Again, staying as engaged as you can, trying to get it as straight as possible. We don't want that leg too high or too low, or the arm too high or too low. Trying to keep everything in nice and straight line if possible. Long deep breath still here. Exhaling, swapping sides. We'll do one more on each side. Inhaling the right hand up, the left leg back. Keeping that body as straight as we can if you need to, just looking back to check your leg. Exhaling, swapping sides, last one. Left arm out, right leg back. Not forgetting to breathe, long, deep breaths. Exhaling, releasing. Now we're going to come into the same thing again, but we're going to take that hand back and clasp the foot. So keeping that left hand grounded, taking the right hand out in front of you, the left leg back. This time bending the left knee so you take the right hand back behind you. If you can't reach the foot, just reaching towards it. Otherwise, clasping that foot or ankle as we press the foot into the hand, lifting the chest, gazing to the sky, trying to lift that knee as high as you can here. Again, spreading the fingers of the left hand, pressing down through that left hand. Again, if this isn't for you today, feel free to come into whatever you feel your body takes you to. Exhaling, releasing. We'll do another one on the other side, and then we'll repeat again. So taking the left arm out, the right leg back, this time bending the right knee, clasping the left foot or ankle. Again, pressing that foot into the hand, lifting the chest, lifting the knee as high as you can. Long, deep breaths. Exhaling, swapping sides. We'll do one more each side. Right arm out in front of you, left leg back, bending the left knee, clasping the foot, lifting that leg and knee as high as you can. Again, long, deep breaths, not losing the breath here. Exhaling, swapping sides, last one. Left arm out in front of you, right leg back, clasping the foot or ankle, lifting that knee as high as possible here. Exhaling, releasing, just coming back to child's pose, resting it out here for a few moments. If you feel any movements coming to you in your child's pose, feel free to do so, or whatever you feel today in your practice. And inhaling, starting to make your way up as we make our way into our first downward facing dog of the day. So tucking the toes under, lifting the tailbone up into our first downward facing dog. Again, just make any gentle movements here as you feel come to your body, spreading the fingers, pressing down through the hands and fingers, lifting the tailbone to the sky, taking as much of a bend in the knees here as you need to. It's okay if the heels are lifted from the mat. Otherwise, you can start to bring the heels back if you have that range of movement. From here, just starting to walk the feet towards the hands, slowly just taking as many steps as you can, nice and slow and controlled here. As we continue to bend the knees as we get closer, continuing to bend those knees, inhaling and looking up halfway, exhaling, folding forward. Just keeping that bend in the knees here as we bring our stomach to our side. So you might have just a little bend, or you might have a big bend. It doesn't even matter, wherever you're at the moment. As long as your hands are on the mat, closing the eyes. If you'd like to here, you can clasp the elbows, just letting the head hang, the neck hang, the shoulders relax. You can sort of rock around here for a moment. If you feel you can start to straighten the legs a little further, just trying to make sure we still keep contact with our stomach on our thighs though. Exhaling, releasing the hands, and inhaling, lifting the arms all the way up, stretching the arms out wide, taking the palms together, gazing up past the thumbs, stretching out here. We're going to stay here for 2 counts. On each inhale, lifting those arms even higher, planting the feet into the mat and exhaling, coming all the way down into Samastihiti, mountain pose. So we're going to take our arms to the side, planting the feet into the mat, spreading the toes out wide here. Really getting a firm base through the feet here. You can have the feet a little bit apart if that feels more comfortable, or you can have the big toes together, wherever you feel you'd like to go to today. We really want to plant through, feeling the weight in the heels, the balls of the feet. If you like to, you can rock back and forward, really just finding that center of gravity in your feet here. Squeezing the shoulder blades towards each other, lifting the chest, tucking the chin slightly. Taking 2 deep breaths here. Inhaling, exhaling, feeling strong in Samastihiti, mountain pose. Inhaling, exhaling. So we're just going to come into a couple of rounds of Sun Salutation A. Now it'll be really nice and slow and controlled today. We might actually just go straight into some Sun Salutation Bs today. So when you're ready, inhaling the arms up, stretching the arms out wide, gazing past the thumbs, exhaling and folding forward. Nice and slow and controlled movements here. Inhaling and looking up halfway, straightening the spine. Exhaling and starting to bend the knees, taking the hands to the mat, slowly walking the feet back, nice and controlled here. Just like how we got here, lots of steps as controlled as we can. So we try and bring that body as straight as we can, the shoulders over the wrists, exhaling, coming all the way down to your stomach, keeping the hands under the wrists here, taking the tops of the feet to the mat. As you press the pelvis into the mat, starting to press through the hands, keeping the elbows bent, gazing forward, making sure those elbows are tucked in, nice and tight to the ribs, spreading the fingers, pressing down through the fingers, gazing forward. From here, tucking the toes under and exhaling, slowly making your way back to your downward facing dog. So making any adjustments you need to get here, and once you're here, taking any movements in the body. If you feel you want to pedal the feet out, feel free to do so. If it feels like too much coming into your downward facing dog today, that's okay. You can come into your child's pose or coming into puppy pose where we just come onto the knees. Same thing as downward facing dog, just on the knees, pressing the tailbone towards the sky. Keeping that breath long and deep here. Inhaling, starting to walk the feet towards the hands again, nice, slow and controlled. Continuing to bend the knees as we get to the hands, inhaling and looking up, exhaling and folding forward. Inhaling, lifting all the way up, stretching the arms out wide, taking the palms together, gazing past the thumbs, and exhaling the hands to heart, back into our Samastihiri mountain pose. So continuing to spread those toes, getting that firm base through the feet here. Inhaling the arms up, gazing past the thumbs. Exhaling and folding forward. Inhaling, looking up halfway, straightening the spine, and exhaling as we take the hands down to the mat. Again, slowly stepping those feet back, nice and controlled here. Taking your time in all of these movements, keeping it with the breath. As we come forward, taking the shoulders over the wrists, and exhaling, coming all the way down to your stomach. If you feel you can come into your upward dog here, feel free to do so. Otherwise, continuing to press the pelvis into the mat, tops of the feet to the floor, pressing the hands down, lifting the chest, gazing forward. Now, if you come just here, that's completely fine. Or if you come all the way up, wherever you feel like you're at today. Just making sure we do keep a bend in the elbows here. Tucking the toes under and inhaling, lifting all the way up to your downward facing dog. From here, inhaling and stepping the right foot between the hands. Now, if you can't reach the right foot all the way between the hands, just using the right hand to slowly bring that right foot between the hands. Taking the left foot down to the mat, inhaling, lifting all the way up into our warrior one, keeping the right knee stacked on ankle, the left foot completely pressed into the mat, palms together, gazing up past the thumbs. Trying to make sure our chest and our hips are both facing the short end of the mat here. Long, deep breaths, strong focus. Exhaling the arms out wide into our warrior two. Adjusting the feet just a little bit here. You might take that back foot at a 90-degree angle. Arms out wide, gazing over the fingers. Again, keeping that right knee stacked on ankle. We want to still be able to see our right big toe here. Inhaling the right palm facing up, reversing the warrior to half moon. Long, deep breaths and exhaling, scooping all the way forward, framing the foot with both hands, pressing down through the hands and starting to step that right foot back, coming into our high plank, Chaturanga Dandasana, but coming all the way down to your stomach or into your upward dog and your flow. Pressing the pelvis into the mat, pressing down through the hands, inhaling and lifting the chest, gazing forward. Long deep breath still here, not losing the breath, trying to connect the breath with all of our movements. Tucking the toes and exhaling, starting to make your way back to your downward facing dog. So we prepare to come onto the other side now. So from here, inhaling and slowly bringing that left foot between the hands. So again, whatever you need to do to get there, if you need to use your left hand, bringing the left hand to adjust to bring that foot there. Taking the right foot down to the mat, keeping that left knee stacked on ankle as we inhale, lifting all the way up into our warrior one on the other side, Virabhadrasana. Palms together, gazing past the thumbs, planting the feet into the mat, feeling strong here in your warrior. Long, deep breaths. Exhaling the arms out wide into our warrior two, Virabhadrasana B. Stretching the arms out wide, just making sure that back arm's straight also. Again, gazing, making sure we can still see that left big toe, knee stacked on ankle. This time we want to have our chest and our hips facing the long end of the mat. Inhaling the left palm facing up, reversing the warrior to half moon. If you can, gazing up past the palm, keeping the knee stacked on ankle, the weight even on both feet. And exhaling, slowly making our way forward as we frame that left foot with both hands, starting to step that left foot back, coming into our high plank, Chaturanga Dandasana, exhaling either into your flow or coming all the way down to the stomach, hands under the shoulders, tops of the feet to the mat, pressing the pelvis into the mat, inhaling, lifting the chest. Long, deep breaths. Tucking the toes and exhaling, starting to make your way back to your downward facing dog. From here, inhaling as we slowly start to walk the feet towards the hands again, nice and controlled, walking those feet towards the hands, continuing to bend those knees further as we get closer. Inhaling, looking up, exhaling and folding forward. Again, if you feel your body needs to take you somewhere else today, feel free to go there. Inhaling, lifting all the way up, palms together, gazing past the thumbs, and exhaling with hands to heart to Samasthiti. From here, stepping the right foot back as we take that right foot to a 90-degree angle. So making sure we have a bit of space here between the feet. We don't want to be this close together, or also don't want to be all the way back here. So just sort of a nice even space. We want to have our chest and our hips facing the long end of the mat. Inhaling the arms out wide, keeping both legs straight here. Again, planting the feet into the mat. Inhaling here as we exhale, we're coming forward into triangle pose, Trikonasana. So keeping the arms out straight, the chest and the hips both open, facing the long end of the mat. We're going to start just by taking the back of the hand inside the knee, lifting that right hand up. Once we're here, if you can feel this stretch nice and deep here, probably stay here. If you feel you can take it a little bit further, you can start to come down to the calf or coming down a little bit towards here. What we want to avoid here is twisting in with the hips. So we want to keep that hip and the chest nice and open here. If you notice you're twisting in, starting to lift the back of the hand up a little higher and continuing to open that chest and the hip up. If you feel it's easier here and you've got a block nearby, grabbing the block and just putting that hand on the block. When you're ready, inhaling as we lift all the way back up. Exhaling, taking the hands to hips now as we twist the hips to face the short end of the mat. Taking that back foot, pointing slightly forward here. So we're going to have our chest and our hips both pointing the short end of the mat here, keeping that left leg straight still here. Keeping the left hand on the hip, inhaling the right hand up, gazing up past the palm. Exhale as we take that right hand all the way down to our left knee. So taking that the right hand outside of our left knee, gazing over the left shoulder. Now you might just stay here today, and that's completely fine. As we start to draw the left side of the hip back here, the right side of the hip forward again, you'll feel this stretch deep down the back of the left leg. If you feel you need to, you can grab a block, placing it on the outside or the inside, even if this is too much for you, of that left leg. If you feel you can take it further, you can take that right hand down a little bit further. You can also come down to the ankle, just taking the back of the hand on the ankle. And if you feel you can take it all the way into our full revolve Trikonasana, inhaling the left hand up, opening the chest. Continuing to draw the left side of the hip back here, the right side of the hip forward. Long deep breaths. Exhaling, looking down. Inhaling, taking the hands to hips and slowly making your way all the way back. From here, exhaling the left knee stacked on ankle. Inhaling the arms up, so we're coming into our warrior one here. Both feet planted into the mat, hips and chest facing the long end of the mat. The short end of the mat, Exhaling, taking the hands to heart. Inhaling, lifting the chest, gazing up. And from here, exhaling as we take the right elbow to our left knee. So if you can, just touching the elbow to the knee, if you feel you can hook the elbow right over the knee, gazing over the left shoulder. Continuing to keep that right foot planted completely into the mat, straightening the leg, extending through the chest and the spine here, gazing over the left shoulder. Not losing the breath here, long, deep breaths. Exhaling, looking down. Inhaling, coming all the way back up. Straightening at that left leg again. So we take the hands to the hips again. So again, we want to make sure both of our hips and our chest are facing that short end of the mat still here. So we inhale the arms up and exhaling, folding forward. This time taking the hands to knee or the shin, wherever you feel. If you do have 2 blocks nearby or a block, you can take both blocks either side of the shin here. Trying to keep that back foot pointing as much forward as you can while keeping it flat. Inhaling, looking up, exhaling and folding forward. Try not to round the spine too much here, keeping that spine nice and straight. So you might only come to here and that's completely fine. If you don't need the blocks, you can have the hands here. If you can reach the ground, you can take both hands either side of the foot. Inhaling and slowly making the way back up, hands to hips, and exhaling as you step that right foot forward, coming back into Samasthiti. From here, inhaling and stepping the left foot back. Again, taking the left foot to a 90-degree angle, both legs straight, making sure the legs are a good distance apart here, not too close, not too far apart. The arms out wide as you come into triangle on the other side, Trikonasana. Inhaling here and exhaling, slowly making your way down to triangle. Back of the hand inside the right knee, lifting that left arm up as high as you can. Again, if you need to, you can grab the block, or if you feel you can start to make your way a little bit further down. Just making sure we're avoiding letting that hip come in. So the left side of the hip should be lifting as high as we can here. It's almost like we're lifting that left hip up to the sky. Long, deep breath. Inhaling, coming all the way back up. And exhaling, the hands to hips, twisting the hips to face the short end of the mat, taking that back foot, pointing as much forward as we can here, keeping both feet flat. Again, making sure the chest and the hips both facing the short end of the mat, keeping that right leg straight. Keeping the right hand on the right hip, inhaling the left hand up, gazing past the palm. And exhaling the left hand outside of the right shin or ankle this time, or taking it outside of the knee if you're coming here, as you gaze over the right shoulder. Keeping both legs straight as we draw the right side of the hip back, the left side of the hip forward. And again, if you feel you can, taking the back of the hand down the leg, or if you need the block, using the block here. And when you're ready, you can inhale and lift that right hand up. Wherever you feel you're coming to today. Long, deep breaths. Exhaling, looking down. Inhaling, the hands to hips, coming all the way back up. Exhaling, taking the right knee to ankle. The right knee over ankle. Inhaling the arms up, so we're coming into our warrior one here. Virabhadrasana A, planting the feet into the mat. Exhaling, taking the hands to heart. Inhaling, lifting the chest, gazing up. And exhaling, taking the left elbow over to the right knee this time. So again, if you need to, you can just touch the elbow to the knee, or hooking that elbow over the knee, gazing over the right shoulder into this twist. Keeping that left foot planted into the mat, both feet planted. Long, deep breaths, extending through the chest into the twist. Exhaling, looking down. Inhaling, coming all the way back up. This time straightening that right leg out again, hands to hips. Again, making sure our hips and our chest both facing the short end of the mat, keeping that back foot pointing as much forward as we can. Inhaling the arms up, reaching the fingers to the sky as we exhale, folding forward. Again, this time either taking the hands to shins or down the foot, either side of the foot, or using the blocks here. Wherever you're at in this pose. So you start to draw the right side of the hip back here, the left side of the hip forward. Again, keeping that spine as straight as we can. Long, deep breaths. Inhaling, coming all the way back up. Hands to hips. And exhaling, stepping that left foot forward, coming back into Samasthiti. So we're going to slowly start to make our way down to the back. We're going to do this by going through a Vinyasa flow. Inhaling the arms all the way up, reaching the fingers to the sky, gazing past the thumbs. Exhaling and folding forward. Bending the knees as much as you need to. Inhaling, looking up, straightening the spine. And exhaling, bending the knees, taking both hands flat onto the mat and starting to walk the feet back nice and slowly. Coming into our Chaturanga Dandasana, taking the shoulders over the wrists and exhaling, either coming into your flow or exhaling all the way down to your stomach. Pressing the pelvis and hands into the mat, inhaling, lifting the chest, gazing forward. Tucking the toes and exhaling, coming all the way back to your downward facing dog. As we're going to start to make our way through into a seated from here. So if you like to, you can jump the feet through if that's in your practice, or stepping the feet through, or if you'd like to, you can just start to cross the shins over. So crossing the shins, as we start to gently start to rock back onto the tailbone. If that's not for you, getting here however you feel you can get here today. So you come into our Dandasana, staff pose, straightening the legs out, squeezing the feet and knees together, engaging the feet, getting the toes pointing towards you. Hands either side of the hips, lifting the chest, drawing the shoulder blades towards each other, tucking the chin and closing the eyes. If you notice your spine rounding here in our Dandasana, lifting that chest a little bit higher, as high as you can. Long, deep breath still here. As we strengthen our posture here in Dandasana. Inhaling the arms up. And exhaling, folding forward. You can either take the hands to shins, or you can clasp the toes or the feet, wherever you are at here. Once you're here, inhaling, looking up, and exhaling, folding forward. Again, once we're here, you can keep the feet together, or you can take them a little bit apart, wherever you feel you want to come today. If this isn't for you, feel free to come into whatever you feel your body takes you into. Long, deep breaths through the nose. Inhaling, looking up. Exhaling, releasing. So we take our hands to heart now as we start to rock back and take those legs out a little bit wider here. So we're taking them out over the outsides of the mat. So we don't want to be too wide, but just a nice bit of width as we're going to let our feet now fall out to the sides. So you can take a bit of a slight bend in the knees here. As we're going to inhale here and exhale, folding forward, just taking the hands out in front of you. If you feel it's easy, you can take the hands on the shins, or if you have the blocks, feel free to grab the blocks and you can just sort of rest your forehead on the blocks here. Taking both hands out in front of you. Wherever you feel takes you today. Long, deep breaths here. Relaxing the shoulders, the neck. Inhaling, looking up, and exhaling, slowly releasing, making your way up. So now we're going to take the bottoms of the feet together, the knees out wide. So trying to keep a little bit of space here between the pelvis and the heels, clasping the feet with both hands, inhaling and lifting the chest, closing the eyes. Long, deep breaths. On each inhale, lifting the chest a little higher. On each exhale, pressing the knees a little bit further towards the mat. Inhaling and looking up. And exhaling, folding forward. Now you can either keep the feet clasped or you can stretch the arms out in front of you, letting the head hang. Long, deep breaths. Again, on each exhale, feeling yourself relax a little bit further. Inhaling and slowly making your way back up. Exhaling here as we're going to take now, coming towards the front of your mat. This time, actually coming towards sort of the middle of your mat here, as we're going to take those knees completely into your chest here. Coming all the way down to your back. If you do have blocks nearby, grabbing blocks, or if you have something like a pillow or a roller or foam roller or something, grabbing that foam roller quickly now, as we're going to come all the way down onto your back. From here, just tucking the chin into the chest a little bit as you lift the hips up towards the sky. You can either just grabbing whatever you have and just placing it under the hips now. So you can place it however you feel, and just making sure it feels sort of comfortable here. We're going to be staying here for a couple of minutes. And from here, once you've got it ready, sort of place just just in the sort of that sacrum area, just above the tailbone, where it's sort of flat there. You'll feel it sort of sit nice and flat there, whatever you've got there, hopefully. And from here, just starting to straighten out the legs. So coming into a bit of a softer back bend, taking the palms facing up, just letting the feet splay out to the sides so the hips are nice and relaxed still here. Keeping that chin just tucked gently into the chin. And when you're ready, closing the eyes. Long, deep breaths here. If you feel you need to adjust whatever you have under your hips at any time, feel free to do so. So we just completely release any tension now into this pose. Keeping those breaths long and deep through the nose. As we close our eyes now, you may notice yourself getting taken away with thoughts. That's okay. Just acknowledging that thought, being aware of it, knowing that it's there, giving it that awareness from the outside. Once you've given it that awareness, just allowing it to float away. So you bring your attention back to your breath, your body. You may begin to notice tension throughout your body here. If you do, bringing your attention close into that tension in your body. As you bring your attention there, it allows it to just release that tiny bit further, even though it may continue to feel even tighter as you bring awareness to it. Just by bringing awareness to areas of tension, they begin to release. Long, deep breath. Feeling yourself letting go here. And when you're ready, we'll just slowly start to make our way out of this. So just bringing those feet, the knees up, the feet a bit closer to the hips, lifting the hips, removing whatever you had underneath your hips here. From here, just straightening the legs out completely. Just letting those legs, the feet, hang out to the sides, feeling the difference you feel now in your hips. You may feel a difference in your abdomen, your lower back. Just noticing how it feels. And when you're ready, taking the bottoms of the feet together here, the knees out wide. Just letting those knees hang. If you'd like to, you may like to rock gently, side to side, nice and gently with the rocking. And when you're ready, hugging the knees into the chest. Gentle rock side to side, back and forth in circles here. And slowly starting to rock up into a comfortable seat. As we're going to come into legs up the wall now. So you have a wall or a couch or something nearby, just making your way over there. You don't need to take your mat if you don't want to, just making your way over to a wall or whatever's around you. So we take our hips up against the wall, both legs up the wall or the couch, wherever you're coming here. Just making sure we've got those legs elevated. So if you're on the couch, you can have the knees bent here. That's completely fine. Then once you're here, just letting those feet hang out to the sides again, relaxing the hips here, taking the arms out to the sides, palms facing up, closing the eyes. Long, deep breaths here, taking in all the benefits of this gentle inversion. As you feel the blood moving from your legs throughout your body, increasing circulation, strengthening the heart, calming the mind. We'll stay here for a few more minutes. I'll let you know when to return. When you're ready, hugging the knees to the chest. So you allow yourself to fall to your right side. And when you're ready, just slowly making your way up into a comfortable seated position with the legs crossed. Just starting to make your way now back to your mat. Just nice and slowly here, if you can, keeping the eyes closed. So you come into another round of pranayama here. Just taking the hands out over the knees with the palms facing up. Gently connecting the pointer and thumb, again closed, keeping the eyes closed or closing the eyes. So we're going to come into Nadi Shodhan for our closing pranayama today. Taking the right hand, the pointer and middle finger between the brow. Pressing the thumb into the right nostril, inhaling through the left nostril. Releasing the right nostril, taking the ring finger to the left nostril and exhaling through the right nostril. Inhaling through the right nostril. Releasing the left nostril, taking the thumb to the right nostril, exhaling through the left nostril. We're going to do 5 more rounds. I'll talk you through all 5 more rounds. So inhaling left nostril. Exhaling right nostril. Inhaling right nostril. Exhaling left nostril. Inhaling left nostril. Exhaling right nostril. Inhaling right nostril. Exhaling left nostril. 3 more rounds left. Inhaling left nostril. Exhaling right nostril. Inhaling right nostril. Exhaling left nostril. Inhaling left nostril. Exhaling right nostril. Inhaling right nostril. Exhaling left nostril. Last round, inhaling left nostril. Exhaling right nostril. Inhaling right nostril. And exhaling, releasing the right hand down to the knee now. As we take 3 deep inhales and exhales now through both nostrils. Inhaling. Exhaling. Taking in all of the benefits of Nadi Shodhan, alternate nostril breathing. As it evens out the left and the right hemispheres of the brain. And when you're ready now, slowly starting to make your way down onto your back as we prepare for Shavasana. Just keeping your eyes closed if possible, making your way down nice and controlled. So you let your hands and feet splay out to the sides with the palms facing up. You may like to grab a blanket or a pillow here, feel free to do so. So you feel each point of your body meeting with the earth. If you need to, making any final adjustments before we come into our final pose of today. So you begin to let go of any tension throughout the body here. Letting go of anything you may be holding on to. So we start to make our way through our body, continuing to let go. Starting at the toes, the feet, the ankles. Letting go. The calves, the knees, the thighs, letting go. The hips, the abdomen, the lower back. Letting go. All the way up the spine to the upper back, shoulders, the chest. Letting go. Down the arms, through the elbows, the forearms, the wrists, the hands, the fingers. Letting go. The back of the neck, the throat, the jaw, the cheeks, the eyes, the whole of the face, and the top of the head. letting go. Continuing to let go of anything that comes up here. So you take in all the benefits of today's practice. Allowing yourself to heal and rejuvenate as you relax into Shavasana. Stay here a few more minutes and I'll let you know when to return. Just gently starting to wriggle the fingers and toes, rocking the head from side to side. As you stretch the arms out over the head, giving the whole body a stretch from the fingers to the toes. Hugging the knees to chest. So you allow yourself to fall to your left or right side, coming into a fetal position. So you take a moment here to allow the mind to return to the body. And when you're ready, slowly making your way up into a comfortable seated position with the legs crossed. If you can, keeping your eyes closed here. Taking the hands to heart. As we take a moment here to reflect back on the intention that you set at the beginning of today's practice. Taking a moment here to show gratitude. Gratitude towards yourself and your practice today. As we'll close the practice, just as we opened it, with one Om all together, inhaling through the nose. Rubbing the palms together, placing the palms over the eyes as you feel the warmth in the eyes. Taking the hands to heart. Om, peace, peace, peace. Namaste.